Hello and welcome to Blendline TV, episode 13, live here in Sydney as we take a look at the world of Australian motorsport. Gary O'Brien joining me, Daniel Beckinsale. Gary, thanks for coming in.
No, pleasure to always be here.
It's been always been. Don't go anywhere else. We're locking me in the back room in the weeks between.
Yeah, we'll review anything that happened on the weekend. Look forward to seeing what's coming up. And how good is our intro this week?
That's it. Some good footage provided to us as we go back through some of the archives of some of our cameramen. Scott Walker with a few good bits of footage there from Oran Park, which is a bit of a theme of tonight's show, I guess you could say. We're going to have a look at some stuff from there. And our question of the week is, what's your favourite memory of Oran Park? We've already had a couple of people comment with a couple of things, including supercarts around there, which would have been interesting, close to the ground and with that wall at the final corner.
Yeah, hang on to your hat.
For me, we got to go there and watch racing back in 2002, I think it was. My father and I with supercars, one of the last later events that were on there. We also got to see the Ozcars when they were there. Got a signature from Jim Richards, which I actually have stuck up in the office as one of my claim to fames as a 6-year-old, and then got lost
I'm not going to tell you
on the way out.
I'm not going to tell you when I first went there.
Yeah, I was going to say,
a long time
you were probably
then.
there for opening night.
No, I wasn't.
Gary, right?
That was 1962, by the way, but I wasn't there.
If you want to watch this, also make sure to head over to YouTube where we've got a lot of stuff as well. We're going to take a quick look around the nation on tonight's show. We've got a fair few things coming your way. We're going to look at the Bathurst Light Car Club Hillclimb, which is happening this weekend. We'll go down to Tasmania for some Time Attack action. Oran Park memories. We'll head to Northern Territory. WA, they'll check out the Thunder Sports category that's coming up at Bend with the AMRS. Pheasant Wood with a bit of information on a new series there. We'll look at the calendar and then we'll finish things off with a race from our archives. So make sure to stick around. It's a pretty top race as well. We have enjoyed
particularly
it.
if you like one particular brand of motor vehicle.
Exactly, one particular brand. But until then, we've got a lot to get through this week, and it's been a great weekend of racing. But we'll kick things off with taking a look at some of the things that are up this weekend for the Bathurst Light Car Club. Of course, we'll be live streaming the Australian National Hillclimb Championship from Bathurst at the end of the year. And we're going to head up there this weekend to take a look. So we'll have a look at some of the photos. These are from earlier on of the Bathurst Light Car Club New South Wales State Round held there.
That was on the first weekend of March.
Yep, they had a great round.
The first round was up through the S's from down the bottom. This is some of the action from the second round, which was on the Sunday, the day after, and that started on the crest on Mountain Straight and basically runs up to the top of the hill, past Oran Park, and you can see there that Kevin Weeks ran his Lamborghini there for that weekend as well, all the way over from South Australia. So quite a few nice cars there.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll tell you what, if you want to get out to Bathurst, go to the Bathurst Light Car Club website and their Facebook. We'll put a link up later on to be able to enter this weekend. They've got the Flying 250... Flying 1/5, on Saturday, which is down Conrod Straight. So you get launched to your fastest time you can down the straight. And then on Sunday, it's going to be the hill climb. We'll be there for the hill climb with Blendline TV. We're going to try to capture a bit of action, get some photos for next week's show, maybe a couple of interviews as we look ahead to our live stream later in the year.
Good opportunity to get some practice in.
That's it. There are a couple of cars coming over nationally that we have heard of, so it'll be interesting to see who actually turns up. Hopefully a fair few good cars as well. Great day out on Sunday as well. Bathurst not too far away from
and the
western suburbs of Sydney.
And the weather's looking really great as well.
Definitely.
Temperatures in the mid-teens, so out in the country areas New South Wales, it's ideal.
Exactly, and why not? Any excuse to get to Bathurst and have a run. I think you might even be able to enter on the day, so if it takes your fancy and you want to get out there with a road car, you can have a go. Interstate competitors are coming. We've got, I can just see here on the website, 3-time National Australian Hillclimb champion Gary West will be crossing the Nullarbor from WA with his car to be able to practice. So that's some good news for that one and some top cars to be able to see. And then we've also got, who else? Ron Hay will be bringing his Synergy Delara V8 with a New Zealand built motor. So that will be
he ran at that
as well.
meeting back in March as well. And actually I think he finished, he's third in the championship at the moment, New South Wales.
Yeah.
I think there's a meeting in Queensland that might stop Dean Ty from coming down.
Yep.
Well, I think we spoke about Dean last week as going off to run a couple of events in England in an Empire.
Yep.
So supercharged Hayabusa chassis car. with in a chassis car, and believe it weighs something like about 330 kilograms and punches out about 440 kilowatts.
I tell you what, if you want some enjoyment of watching as well, go check out Big Wheel Racing on Facebook. New South Wales competitor, Bathurst Light Car Club competitor, VE Commodore Ute does a lot of skids up the hill, and he's looking forward to getting out there this weekend and doing some skids we see online. So
you might see,
it would be worthwhile to go and have a look at that.
Certainly when we get around to the national championship later in the year, Kevin Mackerel will have the 600Z there. It's a Datsun's 360Z with a 6-litre Chev in it, 4-wheel drive. Yeah, awesome bit of kit.
Sorry, I'm just replying to a few.
No, you just do what you want to do.
I got to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
But we've also got as well, sports sedans should do that from Ross Martin. I reckon sports sedans on a Hillclimb would be excellent. There are a few X1s that get out there from time to time.
The prestige thing there, if you're not running an open wheeler, as to who's going to be the top 10 top. Phil Heafy's got a very quick Evo. Stewie Inwood's just repainted his Skyline, and that's always been a quick car, and he's local, so you would expect that he would run, or he might bring out the Corvette or something and run in the sports sedan category, or run both.
That's it. So, maybe get out and have a look. Hillclimb at Bathurst this Sunday. We'll move things down south now for last weekend for the Motors Hobart presenting Time Attack Tasmania on the 11th of May. These guys were out at Baskerville. A great weekend of Time Attack from those guys.
It's building up Time Attack. It's a super sprint on steroids, I guess you'd say, isn't
100%,
it?
Yeah. But you get some cool cars. It's sort of like Hillclimb.
Yeah, it's a lap sprint.
Yeah, exactly.
Super sprint.
We've got some footage which we can chuck up as well.
But they certainly, some of those cars are a bit wild, as you can see from there. Yeah. Big wings, big front splitters, all sorts of kit, and obviously the event amongst events would be the World Time Attack, which happens at City Motorsport Park on the 18th and 19th of October, which is right in between the Bathurst 1000 and the Gold Coast event. So it just nestles in really well. So make a good holiday out of it. Then you can go to Bathurst, call in City Motorsport Park, and go back home and watch the Gold Coast if you're a Queenslander, that is.
Got the video on board here.
Or you can go to Wakefield Park and watch the AMRS round.
That's what you should do.
Because we're televising.
Yeah, well, you can watch it here on Blendline and get down to Wakefield Park. Yeah. We've got some video footage here, though, with Triple O. We'll put a link in the description to go and have a look at that YouTube footage he's put up from the weekend, racing I think he was in a Nissan GTR.
And it's a good perspective to have a look at Baskerville. It doesn't get a lot of limelight these days because it's, it doesn't get a main series event. It runs 3 rounds to the state championship. Great little circuit. Trucks raced there years ago, so you imagine it's been resurfaced since then. They have a huge meeting in October as well. Maybe it might be a bit early, September, called Back to Baskerville. It's a historic race meeting. Yep. And usually packs them out. I think John Harvey and Alan Moffat were there in 2017, and Milton Serafis, who owns the car that the pair raced in the 1988, 87, beg your pardon, 88, I'll get it right in a minute, World Touring Car Championship, the Rockman sponsored car. Took that down and they all got together for pictures and memories. Mick Webb was involved in that. Mick Webb's still involved in Touring Car Masters these days. Long time Moffat mechanic, etc.
Now, for the results of this one, Liam Hooper took it home with a 55.7 lap time in the modified all-wheel drive. Matthew Stringer 55.8 unlimited rear-wheel drive. Stephen Noble 56.7 in modified rear-wheel drive. And Roger White 4th place in unlimited rear-wheel drive, 56.8. So very close times between the lot of them at the very top. A great diverse range of cars that we saw down there. Now those guys are also going to have an event in September, I believe, at Simmons Plain. I'll actually just have a quick look there and find what the information was around that one. But there is going to be another event later on in the year that they're looking to get people into. So if you want to get down to to Tasmania, South Australia,
and it's just outside Hobart, so it's very handy to Hobart. Launceston, obviously, Launceston's up at the other end of the Tasmanian island.
Early August, they're going to be at Simmons Plains for that next round.
So they go up
Tasmania.
To Launceston. Well, it's handy because
Yep.
there's only 2 airports in Tasmania, and one's at Hobart, one's at Launceston. So
It's a bit closer to the boat as well if you want to take your car down.
Go
So
Devonport is the next township along the coast, so nice and handy.
So if you want to get involved with that one, check out Time Attack Tasmania on Facebook. They've got a Facebook page there with heaps of information. The Hobart Sporting Car Club. Tell you what, doesn't Baskerville look like a great little circuit? We should probably just settle in and have a listen to this car go round for a lap. Great lap there on board with that car. Of course, check out the link in the description. Triple O has got a couple of onboards from in the car at Time Attack Tasmania and Baskerville. What a cool looking circuit. There's lots of undulations.
One place I haven't been to. I'd love to go there some stage. I haven't been.
Stop press. Tweet in.
Haven't been to that one. I didn't go to Hume.
That's it. 100%. As we see coming around over the crest, Ross Martin saying it looks like a PlayStation game or Forza from on board there. So, I mean, it does in many regards. You could jump in the sim and have a run. Maybe we should try to get that.
Except the sun actually moves in this.
Yeah, exactly. Baskerville, probably one of those underrated circuits, isn't it? So,
as I say, trucks used to race there before. Yeah. It's only recently got resurfaced once in the last 3 years. They've given a full service, full rehash, you might say, and state championship still runs there, of course. Plus these type of events, along with the other track in Tasmania, Simmons Plains.
We've got Roy Ferntop asking about a new look at TA2 cars, which probably is a good thing to have a look at because we can start to have a look at some in-depth car analysis in the coming weeks. So we'll probably try to arrange that. We'll head on to our next bit of topic now because I think Trigger's done his fastest lap there, a little bit of a slide, but Big Keg also saying Baskerville is a great track. But moving on, and we'll start to have a look at some of our thoughts and memories around Oran Park. Gary, you were there on the weekend for a piece of history.
They launched a book Friday before last, the history of Oran Park.
We do have a cover of it to be able to show.
Yeah, we've got a cover there. So there it is. The quickest way around is on the bitumen. And that basically talks about, Never Buyer, who put the book together with lots of help from various individuals. You can see some of the people that turned up for the launch. This was out at the Oran Park Village land office. This is where the book's available from. There'll probably be other places as well, but you can see there's some old-time drivers there, Bruce Stewart, Herb Taylor. And some people might remember Herb in his various Holdens that he raced back in the 60s and 70s. Bit of a hero amongst those who went to state race meetings. Ian Luff there as well. Spent a lot of time racing around there. Melrose, amongst others. Really, it's a history lesson just listening to it. And Tony Perich, obviously the man who had the circuit up until its final closure. And where the track is where the office is situated there, the track is basically to their left, to their right, looking out towards where would be the go-kart track. The go-kart pits wasn't far from there. And all the proceeds after they get their money back on it are going to go to the volunteers that actually were there as race officials over that period of time and are still around. And it highlights from the very early days in the early 60s when they built the track, and then of course they put the over and under bridge there as well. And then it goes right through to the supercar era and finally the closure. Aaron Arnfield was another one that was there, raced cars, and then was known to everyone, particularly in truck racing fraternity, as the Baron, because he was very prominent there. And of course Rodney Quick won several championships in a truck that they owned. Lots of great memories. You wouldn't recognise any of the circuit because it's all been overgrown with houses, and they've flattened parts of the higher points and raised the lower points. It'd be very hard pressed to tell where the track was. It's sad, but it's a great initiative to put this book together. Certainly brings out the memories of the place and all the racing that happened there. Night racing was a big part
wasn't it?
Oran Park for a long, long time.
I would have loved to.
That was a great story. One of the Tilley boys, Jason Tilley, who's not racing these days, was black flagged in a night race for not having lights. And he didn't pull in because after the race they said to him, "Why didn't you stop?" He said, "Oh, I didn't see a black flag."
Best excuse.
How do you see a black flag at night when you haven't got lights?
That's it. I'd probably kicked you out of the meeting after that one.
No, it was by the end of the night. And it was more good laugh value than anything else. It's great.
It sort of
$30 that book is, and it's a great buy, and it's a great way to recall all that stuff from their land office. Okay. And I'm sure we'll get some links and find out where else it's available. I think you can get it by mail order as well.
Definitely worth one buying. Another track to remember to support in 2 weeks' time coming up is the Wakefield Park 25th anniversary meeting for New South Wales State Motor Racing Championships. We'll be down there celebrating that one. You can get T-shirts commemorative at their website. The fair few of the entries, I think, are also purchasing one of those.
I think they all get something, don't they? That's how they're treating it, which is fantastic.
And it's been a mainstay of Australian and New South Wales motor racing for many years, and now more than ever probably needs our support as it has a few battles on the horizon. I think they'll be able to work through. They're working very hard with council.
The council's called some sort of a meeting in September to discuss some issues, mainly around noise. Particularly one party that's not right adjacent to the track, oddly enough. Anyway,
we had a great chat though for one of our earlier episodes down there at Wakefield Park, where we really got a bit of insight into what they're doing to develop that circuit. And
we spoke to the operations manager, Dean Chapman, about all that, and some great plans for the place, and just hopefully, it's bringing in $15 million a year to the local community, so you cannot let it go, or else. No. Goulburn will become a dust bowl.
That's it. So they need us, so we need to make sure to support Wakefield and get down there, buy some tickets to some events and get out and support the track, do some track days. But first we're going to head now north to the Northern Territory for their last race meeting, the NAMSC meeting up at Hidden Valley.
We've got North Australia Motorsport Club.
Got some results over here from up there that we can have a look at. We can see HQ Holden's improved production and Commodore Cup racing up there on the weekend. A little bit smaller grids for all of them, but I think that's because they're looking towards an event later this year.
They've got they're a support category to the supercars, the Darwin Super Sprint, which comes up next month, and there's a lot of interstaters that come up there, and what they've done in the past is just run a combined field of cars, which is the 3 categories: improved production, Commodore Cup and HQs, and then anyone that goes along just fits into whichever category that they come up to, being one of those 3 categories. Well, this year they've got 2 grids, so they're going to run improved production over 2 litre with Commodore Cup, and they're going to run under 2 litre improved production with HQ Holdens, and it'll be fantastic. They've been good in the past. I think it might be a battle in the former combined category if Ray Hislop goes, because he's generally he is going this year. He told me at the 6 hour that he was going up.
Unless he has troubles like he did at the 6 hour, so you never know.
Yeah, he had some dramas in
the
first race, and I didn't make the field for the first race, but come home gangbusters in the others. So we've seen a bit of footage going past Jordan Cox's car last week.
If you want to check that out here on Blendline Live. Stravos Mostris taking out HQ Holdens, all 3 races from Rossi Johnson up there at Darwin on the weekend. Head over, type in NAMSC
go to
Hidden Valley, and you'll be able to find their page on Facebook and be able to get a lot more information.
They run a lap sprint thing as well,
yep.
which is guys that are starting out, gives them a chance. They move from Motorcana, they move into a lap sprint, which again is a super sprint type of event, and then they'll pick one of these 3 categories to go racing in. And there are more cars up there than what we're racing on the weekend.
And we've got Glenn Holdsworth taking home victory in race 1 of Commodore Cup. Commodore Cup, sorry. David Ling took home race 2, and David Ling took home race 3 as well, with Glenn Holdsworth slipping down the order.
And Glenn is, of course, Lee Holdsworth's dad.
We've got some footage as well of improved production that was about to play, so we can play that, because this is where we're getting to now with IPRA up at Northern Territory. Rodney Jessup taking home the first race victory. Ross Salmon in the Holden Commodore taking home second race victory, and Steve Johnson in another Holden Commodore taking home victory in race 3. So Holden Commodore's dominating up there, which is something for the V8 Capacity Brigade to enjoy. We'll take a look here at Rodney Jessup's race, one of the races from the weekend, which was on YouTube. Make sure to head over and check out his page. And here we go. We'll have a look at some of that on board here with him. We'll put a link in the description below and just have a look at this one. Great race here. It's 9 minutes long. We might settle in and enjoy.
I can actually tell you a bit that this number 50 car is, I think, Gerard McLeod's car he built up in recent times and sold it. And the 50 is the giveaway there, because he ran 50 on his cars down here, so at Victoria basically.
Yeah.
But he's in second position at the moment. We'll just settle back and listen to some nice car noises.
Some great footage there from Rodney Jessup on the Commodore. How cool is it to see racing from around the nation? And Darwin, one of those places I'd love to get up to and have a look at.
It's certainly worth your while. There's plenty to do while you're there. There's numerous crocs you can go and have a look at because they seem to be around.
It has a
probably
support
wouldn't go
like
swimming a lot there.
No, I've heard that. I hear it has a lot of support like Oran Park does as well, with a lot of people really just loving the layout of the circuit. I think that big long blast down the main straight really gets people going. We've also got
a couple of years ago when Ray Hislop last went there, his car was timed at some point on the straight at 269 kilometres an hour, and the fastest supercar was 263.
Yeah,
so it gives you an idea.
Got some speed. Also, just one to think about, we sort of flew under our radar until about 20 minutes before the show, which, apologies to the guys running it, but Toyo Sports Car Club this weekend is running the Carnicross up at Colo Park. Now, that is one, if you've got time on a Saturday, get up there and enter. You can run basically anything you would like to. Head across to the Toyo Sports Car Club group. Just type it in your Facebook search bar, Toyo Sports Car Club of New South Wales. The picture is of a Subaru on the Colo Park track. That'll tell you you're in the right place.
The car will get dirty, but apart from that, it should be fine.
If you want to see some good footage, actually, go to our YouTube channel and search Colo Park Day-Night Carnicross. We had an absolutely fantastic weekend with them a couple of years ago up there at Colo Park, and just some brilliant, down-to-earth, real grassroots racing where you can run anything you'd like, which is the best way to really get involved with it. We've had a few mentions on the track as well. We've got to thank Troy Black, who's donated $5 to us for tonight, which absolutely stoked to be able to get that sort of thing away.
Every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps, and Troy Black being involved. We're also going to try to work on getting Chris Lewis-Williams on to have a chat. Now, if you don't know Chris, he's from the Benella Auto Club, the CEO down there, pivotal in organising and running the AMRS as well. Has the finger on the pulse with motorsport. They've also just expanded into New Zealand, so a lot happening down in that world of the
that's well worth
AASA.
talking about. And of course, he races himself.
Exactly, Porsche 944s. We've done a few interviews with him in the past and covered a fair bit of his racing. Also got to thank Roy Ferntop, who's given us the information that he used to run around Wanneroo, Barbagallo in a 253 Holden 1-tonner. Now, that's a way to go racing, I tell you what.
That'd be a lap dasher, wouldn't it, or a sprinter?
Yep, and Ripien GT says that our coverage of the RX-8 Cup made him go and buy one for the road.
Wow.
So, get a roll cage in it. Get it out there and have a race with the guys.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll welcome you to Talon Bend in just a couple of weeks' time. June 21 to 23, we're out there with the AMRS. It's going to be a huge weekend of motorsport, so make sure you keep it here on Blendline TV for that. Fair few people joining us on the chat as well. Now we're going to head across to WA with an event that Cameron McLean in the comments says he was on the weekend. One of the ones here, the WA Speed event, which was held at Barbagallo on one of the Hillclimb run-around circuits there in Jacks Hill.
I'd say it's Jacks Hill. That's the Hillclimb track that's out there.
We've got some photos from their website for this one that we can show you a few of the cars that were out there.
Looks like he's going down the hill rather than up.
Well, I think they do a loop that went around, down and up, 56-second lap. So we've got to try to make it a fair amount of somewhere. So we can see here that car number 6. I'll try to call them out and get some information up as soon as we can about each of them. But it's hard to find the numbers as we go quickly through some photos. But anyway, it was Peter Morley in an OMS CF10 who took home the fastest time of the day, a 56-second, I guess you could call it lap.
Yeah.
Would that work? As we go around.
FTD, fastest terminal
fastest. Yep, okay, I'll go with that. What do you want? But yeah, great entries there. There was a fair few cars, 60 of them. So fair few guys getting out and having a run and supporting the Western Australian Sporting Car Club, who we've been lucky enough to work with. That's Frank Ferrari, an FT clubman. There you go. I just managed to spy that one pretty quickly. We've been privileged to work with them a few times. 911 there is Stephen Doherty. No, Jonathan Webb, sorry. John Webb in a Porsche 911 Carrera. And that's 117. I'll try to find what it is. That turned my head as well as we were down having a look at some of the photos. That's obviously a custom built thing. Can't quite find the number there to find out what exactly that is, but good to see different things you can do out at WA. Make sure to get on to WA Sporting Car Club Facebook page and the Performance State Speed Series event series. Performance State Speed Series event series. There we go. Say that 3 times quickly.
There's that 911 again. Slow-nosed Porsche.
Oh, there we go. Cameron McLean pointing out that most of the photos were taken by him. So thank you very much, Cameron, for those. Great to see you supporting WA Sporting Car Club, and hopefully we get a few more people out there. If you want to buy some pictures, make sure to check out Cameron McLean's photos and send them a message and purchase some shots of your car if you're from WA. But that was the speed event there on the weekend. Run over the back of Barbagallo. I think it was a car park in the supercars, wasn't it, that area?
Car parks on the pit, down on the old pit side.
Yeah, so there you go.
And up on top of turn 4.
And just being told by Cameron McLean as well, they were lapping Barbagallo on Sunday. So these photos are a little bit older, so apologies for that. Sometimes with our research, we don't quite get...
Your research.
Well, it's my research. I'm the one who's tasked with research every week to try to find as much as we can. If you've got anything that's happening around and you'd like to send us some photos or footage, send an email to info@dgbmedia.com.au or shoot us a Facebook message, because we'll happily sort out what we can to get some more exposure to Australian motorsport that's happening around the place. Ripen GP and Roy Ferntock discussing RX-7s and things in the chat. So those guys having a good old chat about rotary love, which if you like RX-7s and RX-8s, we just finished commentary for the RX-8 Cup TV show, which will
Morgan
air
Park. Yeah.
Yep, from Morgan Park, which will air on Monday, 8:30 p.m. on channel 173. And you can be able to see that show here on Blendline TV as well.
Yeah, highlights of races 3 and 4. Also, the whole lot is on the YouTube channel.
That's it. Now, moving along in WA, we're going to have a look at, as well, the EV racing from WA. So this is something we came across while we were researching what was happening in WA, and it seems that there's been an electric vehicle racing series happening for the last couple of years with students from multiple colleges, high schools, and I guess motorsport groups who have taken it on board to develop their own electric vehicles and race them on go-kart tracks around the place. So we found some photos. They're not of this year. They're of last year's event. But I'll tell you what, their last round was at the Cockburn International Kartway, and it seemed like it could be a pretty cool event to go and have a look at.
Certainly does. Here we go. And you can see lots of different types of vehicles. These are the sort of things that do the run from Darwin down to Adelaide and all that sort of stuff. Pedal power in some cases. Obviously with solar energy being used predominantly there as well. Well, we say that there's an EV explosion. We don't mean that there's any fires or anything, but certainly it is taking off in the West.
So there were 3 classes run at the event on the weekend. Class B, C and A. In Class C, Coulomb Motorsport took out that one. An hour-long race. I don't know if it's an hour-long race or an hour-long period to set your best lap.
Well, a lot of these look pedal power, so you'd be pretty tired at the end of an hour.
I think they're multiple people teams. So 1 minute 33 best lap time there. Then Wesley College took home the Class B honours with a 1 minute 38.2 lap time, while Melville SHS took out the Class A one with a 1 minute 55 lap time best. So it mustn't be based on best fastest lap though, because some faster laps from other schools were below in each of those categories. So obviously it's the distance you can travel in an hour. We'll have to try to find out some more information. If you know anything further about the EV challenge powered by Synergy, make sure to get in touch and send us some info. We'd love to know a bit more about it, but great to see different ways for students and the young to get involved in motorsport.
Ingenuity. That's what it's about.
I tell you what, if we had had that at my high school, we probably would have got involved.
Yeah, another good event to keep an eye out on towards the end of the year is the Formula SAE. It happened at Winton last year. It's been at Calder. It's been quite a few places. I think it's back to Winton
this year, actually. I think
it is, and that's a
multi-year agreement. We should probably note that down and talk to Chris Lewis-Williams about.
Yeah, ingenuity, performance, handling, lots of different things, all done by students, and they're not only from Australia, but from Europe, Japan, and South Africa. A
lot of them come over to be able to have a run with that one, and you're able to see that online. Just go online and search Formula SAE, there's been a live stream of it the last couple of years, and post-produced television as well. So you'll be able to find that on YouTube and have a look. Great racing to see from those guys. They don't actually race; they set times and they, have courses that they need to complete. But still,
individual lap times.
Exactly. Still, it's a good event.
And then manoeuvrability as well is included. Like they do a slalom run, and they do like a Monte Carlo type event where you got to park it and reverse it,
and it's obviously as well the way to be able to get to Formula One, because students from that have worked their way into the engineering departments of Formula One teams.
They call it Formula to start with.
So there you go. We've got Cameron McLaren, saying that the car, I think the one that we were wondering what it is, the silver, awkward looking thing, says used to be a Monte Carlo from America, but it's basically an Aussie racing car.
Oh well, so there you go.
So
lost a little bit in the translation with its body styling, but
yeah,
looks different. That's what we like about it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's take a look as well now. One of the growing categories on the AMRS who we're privileged to be involved with is Thunder Sports, and they've recently opened entries for their round at Talon Bend, and it's caused a lot of discussion as plenty of cars are already getting entries in. So we'll take a look quickly at the Thunder Sports stuff and go through some of their entries to give a shout out to those guys. You'll be able to see all the races here on Blendline TV, and go to YouTube as well and check out Blendline TV. Thunder Sports highlights from Winton Motor Raceway. There's a half-hour highlights package there, but we'll take a look at some of the entries now about what's coming to Talon Bend on June 21 to 23. So here we go, Thunder Sports. There we go. That was a great battle, wasn't it, from the last round? So kicking things off, it's the R31 Skyline of Ross Wood, supported by Ross Wood Electrical. He'll be in Class B. Now, I know there was going to be a Class A and Class B. Class A did not happen at the last round. We'll just try to scoot through here and find. This is the Holden Commodore. Class B of Daniel Van Hayden, 144, sponsored by Men in Sheds. That car there is the Carpet Shed Limitless Car Care Subaru.
Merrick Malouf in behind him in the Falcon Ute.
Yep, and there he is on his own. So Merrick Malouf in the Prime Finance Falcon Ute.
That isn't like the V8 racing utes either.
We also hear that one's got a few changes coming.
Oztruck.
Yep, Brett Mitchell, Hunter Valley Spray Booths, Class B Chevrolet Silverado Oztruck, which we may see a couple more coming out for the weekend. This is Corey Gillett.
A man to beat in the category. He won the series last year.
He will again be in Class B. LS powered Nissan Silvia S13, that one. And then
this is our special for the weekend. Former Super Cheap AU Falcon owned by Bruce Heinrich will be taking part, obviously being local to him, being South Africa. And this car, the ex-Mint Monte Rosso, now run by Miles Bond, the Ford Escort, and it's not running the big, being a turbocharged four-cylinder Ford engine of some sort.
We'll have to check out as well. Miles Bond has some footage from Talon Bend in that car online, so make sure to go check it out on the Thunder Sports page. We'll get it across onto the Blendline TV channel as well for you to be able to have a look at. We've also got John Ruveski, supported by Rook Finance and Customer Sports Reservations, in the Class B RX8, so something for the Rotary fans to be able to follow and enjoy.
And John, of course, is the man behind the series.
That's it. And then we've got Vin Stenter, the Groove Train Greenborough Class B R32 GTR. That's a cool car. Very, very mean. Now, the Prime Finance Ute, we've heard, is going to get some body modifications and possibly some engine updates before the next round. So that will be interesting to see. But we're starting to see a real Class A, Class B structure develop. It's going to be interesting to see if Corey Gillett can keep his Sylvia up there.
He might have to go to Class A if he wants to win races outright.
It's going to struggle against Joel Heinrich, though. It's going to be one to watch. We'll have the Sunday action live here on Blendline TV from Talon Bend with the AMRS June 21 to 23. We'll keep you abreast of entries. We might actually put up on our website as well the current list of entries as John sends them to us.
So we'll do that for any of the categories that are there, by the way.
Just get in touch and let us know.
Yep.
Andrew McClarth says, "G'day everyone." And Zach O'Hara says it's an Oz truck from Stock Cars Australia, which they're going to be, I think, sending a couple of cars over. Worth a look, Stock Cars Australia. Rebuilding at the moment, starting to develop a really good following, and hopefully we'll see a lot more racing from
former NASCAR type cars in that field 100%. As well. So that'd be, just for the sound of those, would be awesome enough.
exactly when they start out. So go check them out on Facebook. Now, we're going to now take a look at Pheasant Wood Circuit, who today announced a new series that they're going to start running at the end of this year. We've got some images to be able to tell you a bit more about that. This is a great way to get into motorsport, along with Colo Park, the Carnicross, and also hill climbing, circuit racing. This is probably the first step towards circuit racing. So we'll get those images on screen because we have got some cool news from Pheasant Wood as we now click across.
They've been running a series down there, haven't they?
Yeah. I think I made this intro a little bit too long. There we go. The New South Wales Motorsport Series Small Car Cup for 1600cc touring cars will be kicking off later in the year at Pheasant Wood. Make sure to head over to their Facebook page to get some information about that. Now, this is a cheap car way to get involved with motorsport, similar to Group A touring cars.
Starts in September on the 1st.
Yep.
Then a week later, it's a practice day on the 1st. So a week later they race there on the 8th. And rounds in October and November, dates to be advised.
Yeah, and it's going to be supported by a few other racing series as well. So it seems that you can get down to...
They've got their Cheap Car Challenge, which they already run.
I think this is going to be an evolution of the Cheap Car Challenge to be able to get a little bit more race time for people and in a bit more of a serious but still relaxed atmosphere. So they're going to have the New South Wales Regularity Series race categories and the new Small Car Cup Series starting later on in this year. More information over on their website about that one if you head to Drive Tech Motorsport. We've got it up on screen there so you can be able to read it to be able to find out the information for yourself. But it should be cheap entry fees and a good way to go racing. 2 5-lap qualifiers, 3 4-lap heats, reverse heat, classes kilowatt based to be able to give many makes and models as you can. Might have to try to find ourselves an old Suzuki or something and get down there.
Yeah, stick the camera.
But there you go. So a new race meeting going to be coming your way in the Small Car Club down at Pheasant Wood Circuit. So moving on from that with Pheasant Wood, who are really putting a lot of effort into New South Wales Motorsport. Of course, the Shelley's involved with running that one, and Cameron Shelley inviting us down actually to come and have a look at Pheasant Wood, which we need to go and do because it's just been such a busy couple of weeks to try to get things done.
Do a walk of the circuit and show you which way the corners go, which way the canvas go. Be interesting. It's always good tech talk.
That's it. Zach O'Hara reminding us to go and check out Stock Cars Australia National Series on Facebook. We'll have to have a chat to Zach about coming in and talking about that series and maybe going and doing some under the skin on some of those cars as well because, I mean, I know for me they are cars I absolutely love. So
that's
good to see. The Queensland Touring Car Championship as well. If you go and have a look on one of our previous episodes, Blendline TV episode 10, that's a great series for some good racing as well. So make sure to have a look at that one. Moving on, we're going to have a look at the calendar now for what's coming up this weekend in Australian motorsport. A few things going on around the nation, and I'll pass it over to Gary to talk us through this one, as it is the Gary segment of What's on Gary.
Here we go, all the way around our great nation. We start off with the Targa Southwest in Western Australia, of course, makes smoking history, and that's been a great movement over there to try and get people to dish the durries, so to speak. Collie Motorsport's got a Ernest Hastings race meeting on the 18th and 19th as well. This is a new circuit using the new longer track for the first time. Looking forward to seeing how that goes. Historic Winton, 43rd version of this at Winton Motor Raceway on this weekend as well. Historic cars, motorbike sidecars, that's usually a big meeting. And this is the old Rob Roy track down in Victoria for the next round of the Hillclimb Championship. Would have had some nice graphics there to tell us what it was, but they got omitted.
All right, Gary.
The Southern Off-Road Racing Association's Tasmanian Off-Road Series at Cambridge, called the Cambridge Sprint on this weekend. The Hell Yeah Rally. What a great name, mate.
That's a cool name.
Hell
rally,
yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, go for it. Saturday, obviously, as well. If you're in Tassie, you can't do both. Don Dingalong Off-Road Challenge is coming up for round 2 of the New South Wales Off-Road Championships, also a round of the East Coast Dry Series, and then we go to Cessnock for round 1 of the SXS Championship. 4 or 6 rounds, I can't remember just off the top of my head, but it's great series. I went and watched them a couple of years ago and it was great. And of course we've got the Light Car Club Hillclimb at Bathurst on Sunday as well.
Just to round things out, that's our calendar for this weekend in motorsport. Plenty happening around the place. A lot of grassroots and entry-level events to get involved with. So make sure to get out and support something. Gary offering no support there for what's been said.
I'm out supporting something this weekend. What are you doing? You're at Bathurst.
I'm going to be heading up to Bathurst to check out the Bathurst Light Car Club Hillclimb, so hopefully get a lot of footage from there. Now, also, there was something I was going to mention. Oh, that's it. We've just completed commentary on the National Formula Ford opening round at Sydney Motorsport Park, which will be put up on our Vimeo site as a pay-to-view platform. Now, this is something we're trying with a few different category bits of racing, since we film so much that ends up sitting on our archives and never used. To try to get it out to you, the fans, we're putting it online for $2 a race to be able to watch. If you would like to watch it, that is up to you. We're making it available. Hopefully you do.
And don't get the wrong idea to think that you've signed up for live. You only signed up for that one.
But meanwhile, RX8 Cup will be live and free on our website and YouTube channel, as well as on Foxtel if you have it on Monday night at 8:30 p.m. And keeping things free, we're going to finish it off with a great race from our archive tonight. LJ race from Muscle Car Masters a few years ago, Gary.
Yep,
this was one
like
that we...
Piranhas.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. I remember sitting back and directing this one, just loving some of the racing. So hopefully you all enjoy it. Until next week, we'll bring you more motorsport from around the nation. Remember, send us an email, info@dgbmedia.com.au, or link us on Facebook, or even a YouTube message. Anywhere you can get a hold of us. We're on Twitter as well, @Blendline. And if you'd like to support the show, you have a company that you'd like to get your information out there, we're always looking for advertisers as well and support for this show to be able to keep it going, because we want to be able to bring as much motorsport as we can from those levels that don't often get recognised to the Australian motorsport community. So
help us help you.
That's it. Andrew McGrath saying he's looking forward to see us there at Pheasant Wood Circuit. If anyone would like to be an official, let them know. So that's a way to get trackside as well. We love our officials here on Blendline TV.
And they get closer than anyone.
They always help us out as well. We love working closely with them because we make sure that we're doing the right thing and they're doing the right thing by us. So, but until next week, I'm Daniel Beckinsale. Joining me is Gary O'Brien. See you later. Enjoy this LJ race.
It's funny to say that though, because in the DKR shop, they have a display going to that. It's amazing the camaraderie and the pride.